First of all, I guess if we can kick off with a slight overview about how you see the digital economy at the moment. I mean, we'll go to Rovio first. I mean, do you recognise that the digital industry is in such a dire state as perhaps would be portrayed this morning?
Well, it's really interesting, first of all, to be here and listening the discussion and the debate over the issues. And definitely, we are very, very interested in seeing how things move forward. We are part of the industry, even if one could say that we're not in telco sector in the sense of the traditional meaning of telco sector, but we are kind of close to you. And I think that we all play together very much. And unless we do have a strong and very healthy telco sector, it will impact us very much as well. So in that sense, I mean, we do follow the discussion very, very, very intensively.
But it feels like Rovio has gone through this incredible growth in the last few years. Clearly, you haven't needed some subsidies, some government help to enable you to go out there and effectively conquer the world with your games and your applications. So, I mean, do you have less sympathy for the telecoms industry for that reason?
No, because I think that the world changes very quickly, and you can never kind of like trust in some certain things that has happened in the past. And like I said, I think we're all here together, kind of like trying to provide a best possible service for our end users, our fans, as we call in Rovio. And we can't do that alone, and the telco sector can't do that alone. So in that sense, we are all together in this business.
And yourself at NMusic, maybe tell us a bit about the company as well, because I think maybe people don't associate it quite so clearly as Angry Birds, for example. I mean, how have you found the relationships that you've developed with the telecoms industries change over the last few years?
First thing, we are a company built for serve the others. Other companies, other biggest companies, especially telco operators. So we provide service, content, music, videos to telco operators, stream music service and everything. So we see a European big market and single market as a huge opportunity. But I'm not speaking only for myself, but only for a lot of founders of amazing startups around Europe. This is a huge opportunity for everybody, and we are very excited with this idea when we say we at NMusic, but also other startups in Europe. What's happened today in Europe, it was something that it was very well discussed in this first part of the summit. It's most of startups and small companies in Europe, they are now facing some troubles, especially because of the economy. But this opportunity with one single market for telco operators can give us more opportunities to show that we are able to do things. And most of the time what's happened with the startups and the small companies, we need to move to other countries, especially to the United States. And this is a huge problem for the small companies. And we need to invest more in innovation. This is the biggest problem that I think we have now in this sector, is the lack of investment in innovation. And other problem for startups, of course, is seed investment. It's very important. Yeah. Of course, the opportunity is here, but we need to jump a lot of barriers first.
Yeah. I mean, Portugal actually has got a very good 4G network, and probably one of the best in Europe, as indeed does Scandinavia, in fact. But, so you're in that sense quite lucky. But do you detect a slowing when you leave your borders, when you want to do business elsewhere in France or Germany or the UK, which are only just beginning to see these high-speed networks? Is it frustrating to you to have to deal with these companies?
Well, we have experience to deliver stream music service and video service in Europe, in Portugal, but also in Middle East, Africa, and also in South America. So we are able to manage those kind of problems. This is more a problem for the telco operators and for the consumers. Of course, we want to succeed with our product. And to succeed, we need to have good infrastructures, good bandwidth. And this is one of the major problems to show that we are able to build things. Of course, if we invest more in infrastructure, in bandwidth, we can deliver and show that we are able, and when we say we, because we deliver services for telco operators can show that they have the same abilities, the same capabilities as the OTTs.
And what did you make of Fleur Pellerin's proposal about creating a greater degree of venture capital funds in Europe? I think she's talking about some big sums which could potentially go into startups like yourselves were once. I mean, is this a positive, do you think? Is this needed even? Is it just two guys in a room and an idea, really?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Most of...
Yeah, I mean, it's clear that we need more funding. We need to access to financing, better access to financing in Europe that we have as of today. And even Rovio has passed certain hurdles already, but still, I mean, we want to bring more innovative, more creative services and content for end users and the fans. And for that, we definitely hope to see a bit of a commitment from EU side as well through their funding. And we truly welcome the Horizon 2020, for example, which is now out there more or less, at least within a couple of months. But the issue that we've had is that some of these things just move very slowly. And in our industry, we move fast, and we want to move fast. And if we don't do that, we will be the ones who are kind of like thrown out of the train and somebody else takes our place. So in that sense, a bit of a more speedy manners and less red tape, as somebody mentioned earlier in their speech, would be welcomed in that area as well.
Sorry.
No, please.
For small companies, time to market is crucial. We have ideas, we have capability to deliver the best services, but we need to move fast. We cannot delay and lose the time to market. Seed investment is very important for all the European startups. Otherwise, we will lose the best for other countries. We need to invest more. We know that in Europe, only 1% of GDP is invested in R&D. In the United States, 1.65. But for example, in China, almost 2. In North Korea, for example, almost 3. 2.96, I think. So we need to invest more. And other thing that we need to do is, let me talk as a Portuguese company, small company. We need to do like the Americans did very well. If a small company succeeds with the idea and the project or a business in New Mexico, in Dallas, or in Kansas, they don't care. They implement it all over the United States. In Europe, we have those barriers. If you succeed in South, in Spain, in Portugal, in Italy, in Greece, Turkey, maybe you succeed because you have a problem. No, maybe we succeed because we are so good that even with a huge problem, we succeed. It's a different angle, it's a different perspective. Other different angle is that we heard a lot talking about innovation. But when you, sorry to say that, but when we discuss with some biggest corporations, they are afraid of innovation. And sometimes they lose the opportunity. And the others don't. The OTTs don't. They invest a lot in innovation. So I think one of the way to solve problems is invest more, is buy more from small, innovative companies.
And I guess continuing to that innovation and being a bit afraid to invest in innovation, I think there is a big difference between the attitude that US people have. I think that they are ready to invest and they are ready to fail. But in Europe, it seems a bit that if you fail, then you're out of the business forever. And that's, of course, sad from our perspective, who wants to come up with new, creative, cool stuff that we can deliver for those people who actually use the infrastructure and pay for that.
Absolutely. And is there a, do you detect a certain old-fashioned mindset among the telecoms groups? Because it seems to me that the telecoms industry has tried to crack the technology industry for quite some time, and more or less failed to do so, in any great way at least. Whereas the US OTT players have come through and taken the market. at the same time as they were trying to develop similar products. Is there a sort of slowness to market which is maybe caused by the size of these groups and the fact they have legacy networks?
Well, no, I don't think this is the problem. To be honest with you, I think the problem is the example needs to be from the top. And the top needs to give the example and need to say to their structure, to their verticals, that innovation is good for everybody. And if you don't be innovative, if you don't take some risks, you will die. Safely, but you will die. So you need to take some risks. And you need to innovate. Most of the times you cannot innovate with a big infrastructure because you don't have fresh ideas. You need to find fresh ideas. And there's a lot of fresh ideas. People want to do different things around Europe. We want to do different things, both of us. But sometimes we cannot do because everything takes a lot of time. People don't feel, the organizations don't feel in their veins innovation. So they need to teach their executives to feel innovation in their veins. So in order they use more small companies to provide what they cannot provide internally. And this is the key. For the industry, see the last numbers, in the last 12 months, 80% of the young employee was created by small companies in Europe.
Yeah.
So this is a fact. Why don't use it, all this creativity, all this passion to change things and to do different things and compete?
And the speed that the startups can usually provide. They come very quickly with their things, and they do fail as well very quickly usually. So in that sense, to take the advantage and try out a bit and let them try out would be very, very good for us.
Sure. And Kati, this is potentially unfair, but I know you used to work at Nokia as well. So, and that's a very large company which potentially was, it's part of its demise was partly to do with slowness to market potentially. I mean, if you look at Rovio and you look at Nokia, I mean, where did things go wrong, do you think?
Well, that's a tough one. I'm not sure if I'm the right person to analyze this, but from my point of view, there was, and by the way, I'm probably one of those 16,000 lawyers that somebody mentioned, if I'm counted in that group. But anyways, so I've been looking into probably from a bit different perspective, but definitely, I mean, coming to Rovio after being with Nokia and Nokia Siemens networks, which were definitely very established and process-driven companies, even Nokia towards the end of the Nokia's days, jumping into an entrepreneurial, very creative atmosphere where there were no processes whatsoever almost in place. So I think that there is a middle way as well, that you need to have certain things even in startups so that the innovation gets out there and you get in the market, you are able to ship at some date. So that's definitely needed. But from Nokia side and Nokia Siemens network side, now Nokia Solutions networks, I think some of the bureaucracy within the company and the slowness and many steps that you need to take before your idea or innovation is actually reaching a body where the decision is made. So in that sense, I think that there is a bit of the truth behind that. But like I said, I'm not an expert on analyzing this situation.
But if you were to move Nokia or some of the other large tech groups to the West Coast, I mean, the culture is different, isn't it? There's this idea of being able to pivot, which I thought was interesting. You stop an idea dead, and then you just take another idea and you run with it until that one works, and you carry on until it succeeds. And is that something which at Rovio you've sort of tried to bring into a European culture?
That's what we're trying, and I think that is part of the company culture as well, that there are tons of different things cooking in the company at the moment, and what we are trying to do maybe now a bit better is to also kill some of them if we see that they don't work, because everybody is so excited about their new things that they want to just take it further and further and further. But of course the company is such a size now, and it has certain strategy as well, that everything cannot be carried out with full speed, so there needs to be quick tryouts and then also kind of like a consensus that we'll let this go if it doesn't fly. So we are applying that culture within our company. And it's not that if your thing doesn't fly this time, it could be that next time it does. So you will be given another opportunity and another opportunity afterwards. So it works out. If we can bring it to Europe, that will be great, but we'll see.
And you're both committed to Europe? I mean, you're both based in Europe, aren't you? And,
Yes.
And you've never been tempted to go to the bright lights of the West Coast to try and look at tap into that venture capital, tap into the networks, the two carriers.
I believe we can change a lot of things in Europe.
Yeah.
I'm here to maybe try to help all of us to think the best way to improve things and to benefit all of us. And talking about Nokia, I have some thoughts, a problem with Nokia and maybe with some others, especially also with telco operators, is that sometimes people tend to neglect content. I'm from content side, so I have this clear idea. It's not enough today to have only the content. You need to control the content. If you look at 2006, the three biggest brands in the world was first place Coca-Cola, first place Microsoft, second place Coca-Cola, third place IBM. If you look today, you have in first place Apple, second place Google, third place Coca-Cola. Microsoft is in fifth. Nokia is, who knows? So they neglect content. The others don't. That's why they are in first place. Users, we are now beginning a new age, a new era. And we are, and is finishing the old era. The broadcast days are ending. And is beginning a new era, the broadcasty days. People are not, the users, your clients, they don't want to stay anymore in a passive way, listening or seeing the things. They want to react, act in a move way and in a passion way. They want content, of course. They have smartphones, iOS, Android, even Microsoft. They have those smartphones, and this gives them the sensation they have the power to control, and they control the content. They have this sensation. So when they have this sensation, they want the content, of course, but they want also the tools to manipulate the content and share the content. And this is a different way to do things. It's not a passive way. This is broadcasty, because they want to broadcast the content, broadcast the content they manipulate in a fancy way, in a sexy way, in a good mood way. This is catchy. That's what they are doing right now, and that's what they demand. If telco operators want to compete with OTTs, they need to deliver the same, but they need to control the content. Otherwise, the OTTs still controlling the content. And people are looking for content first.
Circling around to the single market discussion, though, one of the anomalies is if even if there is a single market for telecoms, there won't be a single market for content. There will still be, you'll go to a different country and you have to subscribe to that TV broadcaster and that service. And does that need to change as well, do you think, to have a truly single European market?
That's why I said on the first moment that single market is good, but this is only the first step. We need to jump a lot of other barriers. To have a strong single market, we need to have a lot of other things, a lot of other important things. For example, energy. Energy in Europe costs 3 times more than in the United States. How can a company compete with an American company with this cost? Also, the rights and the regulations of the content, all the rights that we have in Europe. Sometimes things are different in one country, even 2 countries close together. They have different rules, and this this is a problem for a European company, but not a problem for a company from abroad. If you remember the beginning of this century, you have in Europe a few similar companies like YouTube. But every country, you have in Spain one, you have in France another one, in Germany, but the regulators close those companies. But they never close YouTube, for example.
So this is, it needs to be a mindset change then ultimately in Europe, do you think? Is there sort of an idea that people need to be more innovative? A level playing field there as well, I'm sure you'll all agree, would be beneficial from the regulatory position. We're coming to the end of this panel, so I mean, for the first time actually, after steaming through the first session, we've got 30 seconds or so for a couple of questions, if anyone has any before we wrap up. Anything for Rovio or NMusic? Fantastic. Well, in that case, I'd like to thank my panelists for coming today and invite the next panel on, please. Thank you very much.